What is cracking, everybody? It's your boy Monk and your boy Lou coming at you live, UFC Vegas 88 for Monk and Lou's Midnight Happy Hour. I am looking forward to this card because guess what? Next week makes this week look like UFC 300. So let's enjoy it while we got it. I'm doing great. Lou, how's it going today?
Miserable, but that's okay. This work week, the whole site was down. It was a pain in my ass. And on top of that, finishing up a cycle of antibiotics for like a toothache. So no drinkies. So, enough of that shit. It's time to rage and gamble and drink and not feel feelings.
There we go.
But I love this card.
Feelings.
But I love this card betting wise. I'm going to have more bets on this card than I have the previous 4 weeks. Nice. So I'll say that in advance. And also, just before, as we were talking about for the show, we got 2 fights in flux that we don't know, but they keep getting pulled from like DK and Bet Online. That's the Nchukwu OSP fight. And everybody's main event, the Kiesan Pani Kinziad fight. So we don't know.
Yeah,
so
I heard
break them down anyway.
I heard rumblings on Twitter, and so I immediately went to Bet Online. The Kennedy fight was not there. After about 5 minutes of frantically texting Lou, it was back up there. But then I went to put in the odds for the Kiesan fight, and that fight was gone. So, yeah, right. Who knows? Maybe
they're still on my book. They're still on one of my prime book,
and they're still on DFS DK.
Okay.
So both fight. It still says there's 13 fights. So
yeah.
Just keep that in mind before you, buckle up before you throw in Kennedy in every single one of your lineups. That's all I'm gonna say. You have been warned. So yeah, Lou, let's get right into it on this Thursday night, Friday morning. Oh yeah, of course. What am I thinking? Quick. We gotta shout the chat out.
Mushroom comes with the channel. Got Prince of Mischief, my guy Sean V, Jenna Marie.
Jenna's in the house
forever. My guy Juicy Q, always looking for the sick props on BetMGM. Got Mitchell Hooper here, and we got my guy Jared Curry.
Nice.
Yeah, $9 could get you at least an island in the kitchen.
Right.
Maybe a used toaster oven.
They're nice nowadays. They're all air fryers now. It's fantastic. Yeah. I was at work today. My work schedule got fucked up, so there aren't any awesomely hilarious Photoshop edits this week. I'll be back on my game tomorrow.
It's hilarious because the guy's name is Chad.
Yeah, that's true. Chad and Helliger taking on Charalampos Gregorio, newcomer, UFC debutante. -155 doesn't go, +125 does go. -170 for Gregorio, newcomer, +145 for Ann Helliger, 89 and 73. Look, Gregorio 1 minute finish against Cameron Smotherman. Great name. 130 points is what he would have scored in his DWCS fight. You got to love to see that. You got to love to see guys, and you got to play guys that have that first minute finish potential. And we saw it. Yes, it was a DWCS fight, but Ann Helliger's opponents aren't much better. Jesse Strader's his only win, lost to Haile Alatang and Jose Johnson. But at 7,300, I think he is playable against a newcomer that only has 11 fights. So I kind of like, there we go. I kind of like this fight sneakily for DraftKings overall for GPPs. Yeah, I'm going to be playing this one. First fight of the night, good one to target. I'll have close to about the same amount, probably each guy, maybe a little more Gregorio, but probably over the field on Ann Helliger. What do you got for this one, Lou Betya?
I mean, I know some sharps. What's up, Zach? Welcome to the show. I've seen some of my sharp friends on Ann Helliger this week, and I can't do it. Number one, it's Chad Ann Helliger, and he's old. Number two, his name is Chad, and finally, like, I don't know how the hell he beat Gaffarov on the Contender Series. Like,
that's what I was wondering.
But dude, the Jesse Strader fight, Jesse Strader is awful. And that was dicey. Like, that was a competitive, dicey fight. Alatang Ali kicked his fucking ass, and so did Jose Johnson. Jose Johnson, the guy who got absolutely, like, oh no, I'm thinking, I was going to be really racist there. I confused my guys.
You caught yourself.
Mom Blackshear is the guy that killed him.
Yeah.
I was going to confuse him with Darius Flowers, man. Whoops. Whoops. Oh, there we
Whoopsie.
go. Pereira sub. There you go, dude.
Nice.
Yeah, I had fight starts round 2. Whoops.
Rat salad.
Whoops. I had fight starts round 2 on that one. It lasted fucking 9. Yeah, last week was kind of a disaster.
Yeah.
Saint-Denis, man. What a terrible bet.
Oh.
But yeah, so I'm not going to bet. This is one of the few I'm not going to have any action on. I'd say maybe a live entry on Heliger if you really want. At plus 145 for a guy that's like really won like one round in the UFC, and it was against Jesse Strader.
Yeah.
They're willing to bet him against anybody. But I think if you see him at like, and if you got him early, like good. But I think if you see him at like plus 300 or more after one, maybe it's a shot. Because Charalampos hasn't really fought anybody on the regionals.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not convinced he's a gas bag. I'm more convinced that he's one dimensional than anything else. So, but like, and Heliger's not some well-rounded stuff.
Yeah. UFC vet.
He's not improving. So I don't get the love for Heliger. And this is going to be a theme of this show. I don't get the love for him. I think it's more a fade on a favorite making his debut than it is. Well, Heliger has the tools to win this fight. So this is one of the few like I don't really want a part of, but look for a live entry if you get a really good price on Heliger. Because at least he's proven his cardio is good. His skill set's not great, but his cardio is good for 3 rounds.
True. Yeah, 37 years old. Kiwis in the house.
Yeah, Chad's 37. By the way, I mean, like, well, he's not the oldest guy on this card, so never mind.
Oh, yeah, not even
close. That I could have literally gone to high school with on this card. That's not named Alexei Oleinik.
Next fight, here we go. Jacqueline Amorim taking on Corey Poppins McKenna. Wasn't that the name of Mac's dog? Poppins? The dog that was like indestructible?
The dog that can't die?
Yeah, exactly. That's what I think of when I think of Corey McKenna. Just Poppins. Plus 130 doesn't go. Minus 160 does go. Minus 180 for Corey McKenna. But the closest line fight on DraftKings, 8,200 and 8K for the underdog Amorim. Lou, why don't you start us off here?
I mean, in this economy,
right,
Corey McKenna being now. Look, I know people that got her at like even money, minus 110, great. But why are you betting McKenna? Like, I'm just saying, like, if you're betting McKenna, what's the reason? Because I feel like the standard response is because Amorim's going to fade after round 1. It's nothing to do with McKenna's skill set. Amorim has like a huge reach advantage here. I know she doesn't really throw a lot of straight punches, so I don't think the reach is like a huge thing. She doesn't throw a ton of kicks. So again, she doesn't really utilize her reach. But McKenna's striking is not good. So on the feet, it's kind of like I'll favor the person with the huge reach advantage. And McKenna got dominated on the ground by more than 5 minutes by Kay Hansen, who stinks. So if you're going to do the live entry on McKenna after 1, I got news for you. The books have caught on to this kind of shit. You're not going to get a great price on McKenna. You'll get better than minus 180. But I don't think it's going around 2. And I'm going to plant my flag. John Lee's asking in the chat. You're going to probably take McKenna. I think you probably have to play both sides for DFS. But, like, dude, Amorim sub 1 is plus 950.
Oof.
And McKenna's easily controlled on the ground. And McKenna doesn't have great control. If she initiates a takedown and Amorim goes down to the ground with her, she can easily get a sweep, easily get on top. You're giving me plus 950 odds for somebody who I think wins round 1 at a super high clip. I'll take that as a prop. I'm really not interested in betting McKenna at this price. I'm really not interested in a round 2, round 3 props, which have been steamed like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm.
It's Corey McKenna, man. Like, this isn't like Billy Q where you're like, she won't win the first round and like better. Like, come on, dude.
Yeah, I don't get it. Minus 180 is fucking outrageous.
But this is just one of these situations where I feel like the steams come in not because of her skills, because of a fade on the other person's cardio.
Yep.
And I kind of just hate those bets. Especially why bet it pre-fight?
Yeah, exactly. And look, if you're thinking that Amorim fades, it's because of the Sam Hughes fight. Sam Hughes tough as hell. And she had several. That was a close fight.
And cheated.
Yeah, and was grabbing the gloves
in round 1 by grabbing the gloves.
Every single submission, every time she was on her back. Say what you want about her cardio, but she went 13, almost 14 minutes with Ruiz before she finished her via KO TKO, her second one only in her pro career. And she scored well, 120 points for DraftKings. Corey McKenna's only put up one good score so far against Miranda Granger. Other than that, she's scoring 83 against Kay Hansen, 82 against Vlismus. Listen, I agree with you. Who is it? Zhang Li as well. I am on the Amarim side. I think her DraftKings upside is much higher than McKenna. And look, if McKenna comes out here and I don't know, finishes Amarim via KO or some bullshit, then I guess I'll rethink things. But it's either McKenna decision, doesn't score well, or Amarim by submission, potential to score very well and cheaper. So, yeah, I'm going with Amarim. I agree with Lou here. And her UFC strength of schedule is still somehow better than Corey McKenna, probably because of that Kay Hansen fight.
We should mention one other thing for DFS purposes.
What's that?
I know this is going to be the argument your boy makes, that you're getting McKenna now at an almost 2-1 favorite.
Right.
You're getting her priced as a pick'em, basically. So there's some value in terms of the salary, but yeah.
Yeah, but then you have to believe that she's actually a -180 favorite, which I don't. So that's all depends on how you perceive the line, I suppose. Next fight, Josh Kulibau taking on Danny El Puma Silva, +130. Just picture a nice Puma behind him. +130, -160 does go. -1. Actually, the exact same lines, both fight goes and doesn't go, and the money lines as the previous fight. Look at that. I had to double check it just to make sure I didn't fuck up. The exact same lines as McKenna and whoever the hell she's fighting, Amarim. But the salaries here much different. 8,800 and 7,400 for Silva. I'll start us off here. Look, I like Kulibau here. I just don't know how much I like him for like a GPP scoring, putting up a huge score on Danny Silva. Everybody's looking at Silva saying, holy shit, he landed 200 strikes, 13.6 per minute. Ridiculous. 2 takedowns and a knockdown. All that together, he would have scored 135 DWCS. That's fan-fucking-tastic. Most of the time, I'm like, get that guy in my lineup. But Angel Pacheco also landed 200 strikes on Danny Silva, over 13 a minute, and would have scored 80 points himself without the bonus or in that loss. So Silva, 0 defense, 9 pro fights. I'm going with Kulibau just because, I mean, he has a couple more fights, not too many, but the UFC cage time experience means a lot to me. Only loss in his last 5 was to Lerone Murphy, who is still undefeated. And I think he looked good against Melsick in a fight that a lot of people picked Melsick. So give me Kulibau. I just don't know how he's going to score against Danny Silva. Lou, do you think Kulibau is going to finish Silva, or do you think Silva is just going to be too high volume here?
I'm taking the bait with Silva here at the number. I've just never really liked Kulibau, but like, here's an important thing. 53 strikes against Shailin Nurdenbeke is the most he has in 6 fights. The most. He had 16 against Melsick Bagdasarian, which I understand, but Bagdasarian is not as high volume as Silva is. He's just more dangerous and he's more precise, but still. And he went to a takedown.
Yep.
Lerone Murphy, okay, I get it. Like, he's technical, sure, but he's another guy who starts super fucking slow, does nothing, and Kulibau did nothing in the first round there. Choi, he knocked him down. That was like one of the greatest fights. That's one of the greatest fights ever, and it's only 51 strikes to 46.
Yeah.
And then, look, he lost to Jalen Turner. Really no shame in that. That's a levels fight. Mm-hmm. He lost to Jourdain, who I think is a bum.
Well, it was a draw.
Lost by split decision to Jourdain.
I don't know why my thing says draw. I'll have to look at that. I'll take your word for it.
So the high quality Big Steve, we'll see you in 2 weeks, bud.
Yeah.
So as far as this is an interesting thing. This fight feels like a split decision. It's funny because like Kulibau has fought, superior strikers, more precise strikers, more powerful strikers, whereas Silva is just hittable and is going to run it headfirst in. But I don't know that Kulibau is going to match and throw like over 100 strikes. He's certainly never proven that he's willing to. He's more tactician. So I think that Silva early probably is going to win the optics, probably going to land more punches. I think this fight goes the distance at a pretty high clip.
Yeah.
I think Kulibau could probably win the 3rd round at a decent clip once he finds his timing, but I think Silva probably wins round 1 at a pretty high clip. Well, I think Silva wins round 1 at a higher clip. Give me the dog, man. He's only got to win 1 or 2 rounds at that point. I'll take Danny Silva plus 155. Not huge confidence. But as far as that split decision prop goes, I think if you think round 2 is 50-50, that's the perfect way to bet it.
Nice. And yeah, that was a draw against Jourdain. Split draw.
Well, then UFC stats is wrong.
Oh, I just looked at Tapology.
Oh, well, one of them's wrong.
Fucking, I guarantee you it's UFC stats, dude. They think Jairzinho Rozenstruik is 6'3", for God's sake. I was talking about the reach today about Amorim. It's 10 inches, and they're like, "Well, we don't know if Amorim's reach is really that big." I'm like, "Well, fine, take 3 inches off. It's still a fucking 7-inch reach, bud." Ridiculous. Next fight. I mean, what's this guy's name? Well, it's backwards in this picture, but easily identifiable as Mitch Ramirez taking on Thiago Moises minus 200. Fight doesn't go in this short notice replacement fight for Moises. Plus 160 does go minus 370 is the money line for Thiago. Plus 295, 9,300, 6,900. Yeah, why don't you start us off here?
So we don't have all the props on this one, but I would rather play a time prop than Moises. I don't even really want to play Moises in the distance. I'm not super interested in that. But fight doesn't start round 3. I don't know what it's going to be priced at. Probably minus 140, maybe 130. I mean, look, first of all, you can never, I never feel good betting on a guy who literally tattooed his fucking name to his chest. Like, did he forget? In case he ever forgets, like,
and on the front, that shit goes on your back, right? Like a jersey or something.
It's weird, man. It's weird. I don't like it. It's, you know, it's like the bad hair. Bad tattoos mean, like, bad life choices mean bad decisions in the cage.
Mm-hmm.
But what's Ramirez going to do? I think he's probably the better striker. At the least, he's probably the more powerful striker. He's probably not going to have a ton of cardio. So what's the game plan? Go after Moises. I don't think the round 1 KO's like inconceivable here from Ramirez. Like, I don't think Moises has good striking defense. And what's Moises' game plan? Take this fight to the ground and sub, or ground and pound them. So I think Ramirez super live in round 1 and then dies in round 2. Or Moises just subs him in the first round. So I'd rather play the under here, or a fight prop, or an under, like, fight doesn't start round 3, than I would play Moises as a parlay piece. Like, I know it's short notice, but I don't know. I'm not comfortable laying this number with him.
Yeah, he's had moments.
This
where
is a long-term thought in the channel. Is like all of this is like,
oh yeah, you have to weigh it. Super quick. I mean, Moises is 2-3 in his last 5, but who's he losing to? Joel Alvarez, BSD, and Islam freaking Makhachev. When he is winning, he's beating guys first round, second round, scoring well over 100 points. And he's, you know, when they're a level down from the guys that we were talking about, like Melky Costa, like Christos Giagos, and now you've got a newcomer with 9 pro fights. I love what you said. Ramirez is round 1, and then Moises probably looking for a sub. So I do like this fight for DraftKings. Even Ramirez as a cash or a punt play. I mean, I made a few lineups.
Not cash.
No, not cash. No, punt play for GPPs. I made a few lineups, and it just seemed he was the last guy I was always slotting in. So last thing I will say here, Mitch Ramirez. Could be short for Mitchard. I have no idea. His nickname, Lou, do you know what it is? His nickname is the Fight Stalker. Now, when I heard that, it made the back of my neck hairs stand up. I was like, that's a terrible nickname, but also it's familiar, and I don't understand why. Mitch Ramirez, the Fight Stalker. Lou, do you know who Richard Ramirez is?
Yes, I do.
The Night Stalker.
Famous serial killer.
Richard Ramirez, the Night. This dude named himself after an actual serial killer. That was like a suit. Like, all serial killers are disgusting people, but Richard Ramirez, really, like, just extra, like one of those dudes, top tiered level of disgusting. This dude named himself after that.
I'm excited for Ode Wayne Gacy then next.
Yeah, year. Exactly. That's what that was better than anything I could think of. But yeah, Mitch Ramirez, the Fight Stalker. It just does not sit right with me, man. So do with that information what you will. But well, Jesus Christ.
Well, we got it. There's a nickname related to the next fight that I'm going to bring up that I think is also tremendous. but not like that way tremendous. Mitchard.
That's just
Mitchard.
weird.
But
Just
seriously, tattooing your name to your chest.
Yeah. Also, and it's not like when he looks in the mirror, it doesn't say fucking Ramirez back at him. It says Zeramar, but backwards, like you're seeing on my screen here.
Like,
you needed to do it like an ambulance in your rearview mirror.
Like, do you think he looks in, like, when he wakes up and he sees that every day, he's like, "That's right,
This
I am
is
Mitch
a good
Ramirez.
decision."
Let's go."
First, he looks at his stomach and he goes, "That's a compass, north. I'm going to look north up my stomach. That's my name." Boom. It's a real Memento situation going on. This dude's got like facts tattooed on him. John G was a drug dealer, it probably says on his forearm somewhere. Anyways, shout out Christopher Nolan for Emmy Oscar award winning Christopher Nolan. Here we go. Jafel Filo, and I want to know what nickname you're going to pick here. Jafel Filo taking on Ode Osborne. Minus 260 doesn't go. Plus 200 does go. Filo, the minus 153 favorite, 8,700 on DraftKings. Plus 133 for Osborne, 7,500. Lou, what are you going with here? Pastor or the Jamaican sensation?
Neither. So this line came down a little bit. Fafilio was a little wider. He was around like the 160 some range. And so one thing I like to look at and like is I want to know, well, what is their line history as a professional? And on the Contender Series, he was about the same odds, maybe 10 cents difference against Roybert Echeverria.
I'm sorry, did you say Roybert?
Roybert. His nickname is the Unbroken, which is awesome.
Oh, nice.
I think Roybert, the Unbroken Echeverria, is
a Game of Thrones character.
Anyway, so why is this guy's money line pretty much the same price as it was on the Contender Series, and against Daniel Barres, who's, I don't know, kind of a bum, who's minus 120? So, like, this line is crazy when you think of it that way. He's facing the best guy he's ever fought, the most experienced guy, the most skilled on the feet. But why are people steaming Filio? It's for two reasons that you're betting him. You like the comeback against Barres, where he got absolutely crushed.
Yeah.
And then Barres just refused to put him away. Refused to, like, go to the ground. Refused to just end the fight. Or the one good round he had against Makayev, who has proven to us that he just loves fucking around in these fights before he finishes guys. Dude, Malcolm Gordon took a round off him. Tim Elliott took 2 rounds off him. So, like, and I thought Alex Perez took rounds off him. So, and Perez, I think, is skilled when he's, but he hadn't fought in like 38 years. So why is this number the way it is? Again, it's like the Amorim fight where it's like, okay, well, Ode Osborne's going to gas, and then Filio is going to take over in round 2 and round 3. And I don't know, man. I'm not certain of this. I mean, Osborne showed all right cardio against Charles Johnson. It's true. If you're done betting out Ode Osborne, trust me, I get it. I'm done betting Ode Osborne. I'm done with this fucking guy. But I don't know. I think the line is just too wide on the Filio side for a guy that has shown that he likes getting hit. So,
yeah.
And people seem to think, Filio round 2, round 3 sub, like, well, dude, Ode's not a gas bag after like 4 minutes. I mean, typically he can get like into the, mid end of second round, and like he might do enough in 2 rounds, just hold on. I don't think Filio is some monster like killer here. So it's a big step up in competition for him. He's a favorite. I didn't like the Barres look at all, though. At all. And I don't know why. I don't know. Again, I don't get it, man. It was a great come from behind win. I get it. But, man, Daniel Barres is like not it. So I'm going to pass on this fight. The totals are terrible. I mean, this fight doesn't go is brutal. So maybe over 1.5. Like, I don't even know what that is right now, but if you can get, like, I'm going to look it up right now. You can get any kind of like equity on that, because I don't think Ode's finishing them. I see it's a couple different books. I see minus 125 to minus 143 range for over 1.5 here. If you don't think Ode kills him in the first, this thing probably gets extended a little more than you think. So,
yeah, I
I'd
think
rather play
so.
that than anything else.
I think they think that Philo's going to finish Ode here, and I understand why. I guess at least why they're favoring a finish. 3 of Ode's last 5 have finished inside the distance. He did get a KO win over Zaruk Adashev, who has like, I don't know, 6 fights maybe or something, 8 fights. I don't even know. Other than that, he got subbed by Almabayev and Tyson Nam. His strength of schedule, while it has decent names, is not good for the UFC at all. Well below average. Yeah, that Perez fight was heartbreaking. I had more Perez than I should have in DK, and I thought I was looking good until I wasn't. But you're exactly right. It's the leg lock that, or the knee bar that Philo had Makayev in. That's the reason everybody's kind of on him here. Plus the comeback, dealing with adversity in the last fight, still getting the first round. First round finish. But yeah, I don't know, man. Part of me hates this fight for DraftKings because Ode rarely scores well. But when he loses, he gives up like 105 on average, which is exactly what Philo scored in his last win. But I don't know. I'm kind of on your side. I kind of am leaning Osborne a little bit. I do think it gets extended, and I don't think the winner scores very well. So I'm fine with slightly fading this one. Yeah. Let's go on to the people.
How does Ode cover his salary outside of like, because he has no takedown equity.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he took down
he's
Charles
probably
Johnson
not winning all 3 rounds.
Right.
So, I mean, what does he get in a decision win? Look,
70.
If he gets a knockdown, he could 10x. But I don't think he scores anything in the 3rd round.
No.
So, I don't know. And Filio, honestly, it could be 1 takedown and that's it. And if it is, then you're not getting you're only getting 5 points for that.
Yep.
I don't know.
And he is only 8,700 though. So that's not bad, but that's still the most expensive he's ever been.
Yeah, but he's not going to land 100 strikes.
Exactly.
And he's probably not going to get 9 takedowns.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. We're expecting that out of a different fighter who we're going to talk about in a couple of fights here. People's main event. You said it, Lou. Here we go. Chelsea Gump taking on Josiane Nunes, who the strangest built human. I am not body shaming her, I promise. She looks like she was like squished by a trash compactor or something. Yeah, bonk. She got bonked. No neck, longest arms of all time. I don't know what's going on. It's funny. Yeah, minus 130 doesn't go. Wow. Plus 100 does go. Minus 145 for Josiane, plus 125 for Chandler, 84 and 78. Lou, start us off here for the people's main event.
Okay, so the most dumbfounding, amazing thing about this fight is that it's at 135. So they're both dropping down. Why? I don't know.
I don't think 145 exists. Like, honestly, I don't think it's a thing anymore.
But like, then why even make this fucking fight? I mean,
good point.
So this is one I need to see the scales, because if you're having them both move down, I need to see the scales. All right. I don't think Nunes has a problem making weight here, because I think she's just an undersized 145. I don't think it's a big problem. We got to see what Chandler looks like, because she's way bigger here. If Chandler looks good on the scale, she's a good bet for me. I already bet the under 2.5, because I think that Chandler, she gets decked in every single fight. Like she didn't get put out by Norma, but that was close. I think Nunes could put her out. And if Chandler gets a takedown early in a round, I think she's going to pound Nunes out on the ground. So, yeah, I weirdly like this fight. This is your Mug Shorties sponsored fight of the night. But I do like the Chandler side here quite a bit. I mean, Zara Farron, like, looked like she was 3 feet taller than Nunes and was dominating her on the feet, and then just stopped throwing strikes in the second round. Like, I know that Couch Warrior likes to remind us that he had a bet on Farron and everybody called him dumb, and then it lost. And I'm like, no, you're dumb because of the Jubilee bet. That's why you're dumb.
Dude, Nunes,
I know Jubilee was winning that fight 2-0 too. I get it. But like, I kind of like the Chandler side here. She's takedown upside, but even on the feet, you know, like, I don't think that overhand left's going to be there for Nunes. I think Chandler will be able to like kind of avoid it, and she'll probably land more damage on the feet. Like she'll get the optics. So yeah, I like the Chandler side here, and I can't believe I'm saying it after the way she ran away from Norma. But
Yeah, that's pretty much what I said, to be
yeah,
honest.
and training with the Diaz's, man. Like
Yeah, exactly, man. I mean, Nunes, I mean, Jesus Christ, she stomped out Bia Malecki. Shouldn't have even been sanctioned. Then
Ramona
couldn't.
Pasquale took her down.
Right, that's what I was gonna say. Pasquale took her down 3 times and controlled her for 25% of the fight, and she, yeah, not good. Then the Zarafarin affair was just awful. And Nunes was $9,500 that week, guys. She scored 75 points. Yeah, ridiculous. I'm leaning Chelsea Chandler here, to be honest. I think it's exactly what Lou says. She gets inside, lands a takedown, and that's gonna be that as far as I'm concerned here. Not too much to say. As far as DraftKings, actually, for 7,800, I kind of do like Chandler. She has some wrestling upside that we both just mentioned. But I mean, who knows what could happen, man? If she could somehow find a finish, I'm not expecting it, but somehow it could be a decent little play at 78. This fight's going to go overlooked, probably for good reason. But man, always interesting to watch Josie and Nunes fight. That is for sure. Next fight, here we go. Mike Davis taking on Natan Levy. Plus 145 does not go the distance. Minus 175 does go all three. Minus 500 for Mike Davis. My goodness. Plus 375 the return on Levy. 9,200. So that makes Mike the third most expensive fighter on the card. And Natan Levy the third cheapest fighter on the card. I like Mike Davis here, man. Look, I don't think he's the best anywhere, but I think he is fantastically well-rounded. He's 3-1 in the UFC, lost his debut to a guy named Gilbert freaking Burns. Went 10 minutes with him, basically got subbed, but what a crime that was to put a newcomer against Gilbert Burns in the year 2019. Then he beats Thomas Gifford, 2 takedowns landed, 2 knockdowns, and almost 10 strikes a minute, 139 significant strikes landed, scores 135. Mason Jones was his next fight, who should probably be back in the UFC within this year. I almost guarantee it. Landed again over 100 significant strikes on Mason freaking Jones, 3 takedowns as well. Then Borshev, less strikes, but 9 takedowns landed, controlled him for 54% of that fight. So I love Mike Davis's skills here. I think he's going to be more well-rounded and kind of better than Levy almost everywhere. And Levy's 2-1, but who's he fought, man? Genaro Valdez and Mike Breeden. When he fought some decent competition in his debut, Rafa, don't call me Rafa Garcia, landed 7 takedowns on him in 38% control time. So I'm expecting that from Davis. Love a decision here and love a triple-digit score at the 9,200 mark. I love Davis for cash and GPP. I'll have a bunch of him. I'll still have some Levy because he does score well, and when he wins, he puts up good scores. But again, Mike Davis is not Genaro Valdez or Mike Breeden. So, yeah, give me Mike Davis. Lou, how do you see this one?
I just want to say that I think Mike's specialty is maritime law, like a Charith cute story.
Bird law. I'm more focused on bird law.
I just love busting his balls. I mean, I'm never betting this fight, even if decision prop is terrible for Mike Davis. I think Levy is very, very jobber-esque. He looks like a tank. His cardio is not great. He's a wrestler that doesn't have a good takedown defense. But like, I like Davis should dominate, but like the inactivity just is, it's too much.
It's been over a year since he fought.
You broke this, and he's always like hurt. He's always got something going on. You know those people, like it's always something.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was supposed to fight Pete Rodriguez twice, and then what's his name's younger brother? Alex Reyes, dude. He was given like handout fights and 3 fights canceled in a row.
This is kind of a handout fight too.
Mike Davis, though, I think he's way tougher than that. I don't think he's like the next coming, but
this is a handout fight for Mike Davis. This is
that's okay. Oh yeah, right.
This should be a dominant smash, and just from a salary perspective, because I think this goes the distance, and I think Davis gets a lot of takedowns.
Smash him in your lineup. Yes, agree.
Cash game, like he's a must.
Auto play and cash. In my opinion,
he doesn't lose. I don't know. I don't know what Levy's path is.
I mean, I don't know.
But he looks good. But he looks good in the picture. Looks tough.
That's true. That is true. Next fight.
Oh, Papa Chuck. Long time no see,
Papa Chuck in the house.
Hey, man, I'm just sitting in
We
jail.
both made, I saw him, I think I follow. Yeah, how else would I have seen it? We both made the same Richard Ramirez comment within like 40 minutes of each other. So Papa Chuck is my guy.
Who's your favorite serial killer?
I don't. Have you seen the show Mind Hunters?
Yeah.
Who's the big guy? Ed.
Oh fuck. He's
the most entertaining to listen to speak. That's how I'm going to answer that. He's the Ed Kemper. He's the most entertaining to hear talk, to have a conversation with.
Okay.
At least according to that show.
Can I go off the board with mine?
Yeah, definitely.
I'm going to say the Lafferty brothers, who, for those that don't know who they are, they're from Under the Banner of Heaven. They're the Mormon murders in the 80s. It was all like cult-esque and weird shit. And like,
I watched that show.
Ended up getting caught when the one brother was strangling the other because he got a message from God. So even the serial killers were trying to kill each other, which was great.
That shit was true?
That's a true story.
I don't keep up on my Mormon stuff, so I didn't know that.
That is a very, very... Oh, and Uncle Ted is... I mean...
Uncle Ted, yeah.
I mean, we can't count David Koresh. I wish I could count David Koresh, but he's my favorite cult leader.
No, what about the old man from Heaven's Gate? Heaven's Gate.
He chopped his cock off, dude.
Oh, Jesus.
But in all fairness, he said he was going to kill himself in a mass suicide, and he did. And there's something to be said for following through.
This man that follows through. He's got conviction.
And what were they wearing? Nikes.
Yep. On brand.
To go to heaven, they were wearing Just Do It.
Well, you got Just Do It and Air Jordans. You know what I'm saying? You got to get up there somehow. Jesus. Next fight. Speaking of guys that look like fucking serial killers, Gerald Mearshart taking on Captain Caveman himself, Brian Barberena. Minus 175 fight doesn't go. Plus 145 does go. Minus 238. Lou, in this economy for Gerald Mearshart. Plus 203 for Barberena. 9,100. Look, man, I guess you have to play this for GPP. Obviously, the GM3 round 3 auto bet, or is an auto bet, I should say, round 3 by sub. You all know that at this point, but in case you're new here, we bet GM3 round 3 sub every time. And if you do that, you'll probably make like thousands of dollars at this point. But yeah, Gerald Mearshart not looking good lately. Gets subs, gets knocked out. Brian Barberena, I mean, has dropped 3 in a row, got taken down 13 times and knocked down twice by a guy that I didn't think landed takedowns. And Mahmoud Muradov got subbed by Gunnar Nelson, who couldn't sub Takashi Sato after being on his back for 14 and a half minutes, and was also subbed by RDA. So look, man, it's either going to be probably a Brian Barberena knockout, and some crazy shit show nonsense, or it's going to be Gerald Mearshart eventually finding the back of Barberena and getting a sub. I guess you have to play it, but look, man, I am not excited to play this one because when Gerald Mearshart wins, it's really a toss-up. 85-61 because he doesn't throw strikes, he doesn't go for takedowns, he just gets submissions. That doesn't score well. So I guess I have to play some Barberena, but I don't want to. I mean, could he get a round 1 sub here, Lou? Even if he does, how's that going to score, man? I might just fade Mearshart a little. I don't know. Maybe that's a mistake. What do you think about that?
All right. Well, I'm a GM3 stan.
I know. That's what's going to make this tough for me.
No, I'm not, because my preferred play is the under. Under 2.5 is like minus 148 on my one book. And even getting past that, where is it? Fight doesn't start round 3 is minus 106.
Okay.
GM3 in the distance or sub is like 10 cents higher. I'd rather do that. No, I don't think this fight goes to the 3rd round because the guys that are getting ground, and I mean control on Barberena.
Well, like then Anthony, it is a must-play fight then.
Like Anthony Ivy, like does not have good control, does not have good entries. Like Barberena gets taken down easily at this point in his career. I can't dispute the round 1 KO of Barberena.
Right.
At 1050. Dude, Ian Heinisch did it. Like, I mean, Cobb's not, but like, I don't care about that. Like, but like,
the wrestler
Heinisch is not really knocking people out in the first round.
Right.
Like, Meerschaert can get caught. So I kind of like this thing not to go to the third round, actually, because I just think it's only going to take Meerschaert getting on the ground once, and Barberena is not going to be able to escape this. So, I mean, the guys that have controlled Barberena, like
makes me
Anthony
a little more
Ivy,
confident then.
Like Ivy, who's the other fucking
Gunnar Nelson did, RDA did, but you expect that from those guys.
No, what's the one I'm looking for here? Oh yeah, Darian Weeks is like fucking awful. Jason Witt controlled him. Like, these are guys that like don't even attempt submissions. They're just happy to like lay on you, and Barberena do shit. Dude, GM3 is gonna like the second Barberena move is gonna lock something in. So look, is the line wide? Yeah, but that's because Barberena is live for like a flash KO, and that's it. So I like Meerschaert, but I'd rather play a time prop here and just give Barberena. Dude, Meerschaert's chinny, man. Like,
yep. I mean, look at his left eye. He's got a permanent black eye every time he comes. Every time he's
probably wraps up an early sub. I don't think I think the round 3 sub's not even worth it here. And dude, his props, like for the subs.
Oh, it's got to be crazy.
Round 1's plus 430 and round 2's plus 525.
Oh,
pretty shitty. And round 3's 8. And round 3 is 800. Like, I don't want to bet a round 3 prop at 800.
No, I take back what I said.
I bet a round 1 prop at 800. I won't bet a round 3 prop at 800.
Exactly. That's insane.
You need Barberena to fight off 10 minutes of submission attempts potentially to get that round 3. So like, no, I don't like it this way. This is not an automatic round 3 sub.
No, you're right about that. So yeah, get both guys in your lineups. I love it.
I mean, Barberena, if he does get a round 1 KO, I cannot imagine he's going to be owned.
No,
highly at all.
12% maybe.
Like, he's a guy that wins you $100,000.
Right. Yeah, he's the Joanne Wood of this week.
Like, if you have him and Mitch Ramirez, and they both come through at round 1 KOs, there's not a lot of people that are going to have both in their lineups.
Right. Yeah. Then you just got to hope that the Kennedy fight's not canceled. So, because you probably have him in your lineup at that point.
Right.
Speaking of hopeful fights that are not canceled because they're no longer on books. Macy Chiasson taking on Pannie Kianzad, the rematch no one asked for. Plus 225 doesn't go. Minus 325 goes the distance. Minus 240. So we got a WMMA fight where someone's minus 240 and the fight goes as minus 325. That spells excitement. 9K for the privilege to play Chiasson, 72 for Kianzad. Lou, who do you got here?
No.
No.
I like this first. I'm never betting Chiasson at minus 240 ever. Do I think she could cover it? Yes, she could get takedowns and probably cover this number. But like, Pannie's better on the feet. She's a better boxer. And do I really trust Chiasson to explicitly go for takedowns here? No, dude. Like, I don't at all. So I'm gonna pick Chiasson, I guess. But like, this number's crazy, dude. And I should mention, my favorite sharp, Pepe Sylvia,
shout out,
bet Pannie Kianzad in this fight.
Oh shit. Well, that's all fine and well. I understand the bet, but for DraftKings, Pannie might be one of the worst players on the card historically.
She's drawn to a KO for DK. I mean,
she's only been subbed once, and that was to Macy Chiasson back when Chiasson was like 2-0 or something like that. But other than that, Pannie's a decision machine, win or loss. She scores 76 when she wins throughout her career, and that's not like one's 100 and one's 50. No, it's like 76 across the freaking board. When she loses, she doesn't allow a ton of points, just 82. And when Chiasson's 9K, that's not going to pay it off. However, the upside for Chiasson does exist. She has scored well over 100 points in 2 of her last 3 wins. Yeah, much love to Pepe Sylvia for sure. I wholeheartedly agree. And didn't look great. I mean, she actually looked okay against Aldana until she got liver kicked while standing over her. Scored 43 points in 3 rounds, so that's not terrible. Beat Norma Dumont, not terrible. Beat the current, or sorry, I should take that back. Lost to the current women's bantamweight champion Raquel Pennington. That is very weird to say. Long story short, Kason does have DraftKings upside. I'm not gonna go crazy playing her at 9K, but I also don't think she's dead in the water either at that salary. She has she has shown it before, so I don't expect it against Kianzad. I expect a decision. Winner scores 75 to 85, and a big old no on this one. Unless Kianzad wins with 85, then that would be okay. But yeah, decision fight here. That's how I see that one.
I hope it doesn't get canceled.
Yeah, hope it doesn't get canceled. My goodness. Here we go. The Midwest Choppa, Isaac Dolgarian, taking on C-Rod, Christian Rodriguez. Minus 130 doesn't go. Plus 100 goes all three. Minus 190, almost 2-1 on Dolgarian, the guy with 6 fights against Christian Rodriguez, who has done his best to fight the scale, but has a couple of losing efforts, but still very good looking fighter at catchweight, I should say. Plus 165 is his return. 8,577 are the DraftKings salaries. I think it is my turn probably. Yeah, I'm gonna play Isaac Dolgarian. Obviously, you got to play guys in DraftKings that have shown you that they can A, score well, and B, get finishes in the first round and do land 7.3 strikes a minute, land a takedown, 90% control time. All these things I kind of talked about with some other fighters. I believe the Mike Davis fight about how he's so well rounded. The numbers say the same for Dolgarian, even if it's only 5 minutes of fight time, even if it's against Fire Marshall here. Christian Rodriguez has been involved in 3 weight misses in his last 3 fights. Josh Weems missed, then Rodriguez missed twice. Now he's being forced to move up to featherweight, in which he's 0-1 in the UFC against good competition in Jonathan Pierce. Yeah, I'm going to be rostering Dolgarian at 8,500. I think I have to do that, but I'm also going to roster some of Christian Rodriguez just because he's an underdog and he's fought good competition and looked good at bantamweight. But Dolgarian probably hits like a fucking featherweight, and Christian Rodriguez clearly does not want to be in this division. So I favor Dolgarian for that reason. I favor a knockout finish for that reason. So I'll have Dolgarian in my lineups here. I don't mind a little bit of C-Rod though, as he has looked good against Simon and Raul Rosas Jr. Lou, how do you see this one? You think Dolgarian is going to get the finish? I picture you as a big Dolgarian guy.
What's that?
I picture you as a big Dolgarian guy.
I liked him against Francis Marshall, but I liked him because I didn't think Francis Marshall was very good.
And you were right.
The question here is like, how do you... I feel like Christian Rodriguez is kind of funny to cap. So I had a bet on him against Simon because I think Simon's a bum who cheats in every single fight.
How dare
gets
you?
A point deducted in every single fight. I had a bet on him against Rosas Jr. because I thought Rosas Jr. was a cardio, would dump his cardio, and he did. I read those 2 right, but even I love that play. Even Weems had a little bit of success in that fight before C-Rod got him. I feel like you go back and you look at the Pierce fight where he took it on short notice and he had a lot of success against Jonathan Pierce. I hope Weezy's not watching the show. I think Pierce is super overrated. And I think he's a guy that like has good cardio, but doesn't have like a huge skill set other than the fact that he's like got great cardio.
Is he the one that just got lost to Brito? The comeback from Brito?
Yeah, he got murdered.
Okay. Yeah.
So I feel like I've gotten a lot of these fights correct with not just them, but like their opponents. Like this is like a good weight class for me in general, like range. When we get to like light heavyweights where I'm terrible, but I think there's a misconception that, and we see this a lot, just because Dolgarian has not gone more than a round doesn't mean he's not capable of it. This dude's been wrestling for years. So I don't think his cardio is going to be bad. More importantly, if he gets C-Rod down, it doesn't mean he's instantly going for a finish and pounding him and wasting all his energy.
Right.
He's not. I think he's probably, even though it's limited, probably has better grappling control than Rosas, who has given up positions in the contender series, and Pierce, who gives up positions against everybody and just gets a lot of takedowns. I think Bulgarian gets a takedown in the first round, can probably get 3-4 minutes, can get a lot of control time here, not expend all his energy. This line looks crazy when you look at it at first glance. And obviously the steam is crazy, but I think where there's smoke, there's fire. And I like Bulgarian here a lot. I don't, even at this price, I like him. I think he wins round one at an amazingly high clip.
Mm-hmm.
So if you like the C-Rod side, probably a live bet. But honestly, I think Bulgarian's going to just, this is like a breakout for him, man. And let's be honest, Chris Rodriguez may weigh 148 pounds tomorrow.
Right.
He may miss.
Wouldn't that be
And if
so
he misses,
funny?
I wonder if
Holy
Dana White's going to be like, I fucking had it with you.
I would
He might.
imagine the thought would cross his mind.
So what's up?
Especially if the Kennedy and Macy fights are off and then Christian comes in weighing 148 and a half.
He might be like, fuck you, dude. Like, fight, but you're done, dude.
Right.
So I like Bulgarian. I know it's limited tape, but like, I think the price is weirdly, I think he can cover this number quite easily.
Nice.
And I bet he's going to, I actually like him by decision more than the finish. I think he wins a 30-27 here. I think he wins a fairly, I think he hits harder. I think his wrestling's better. Again, C-Rod's facing like weirdos with bad cardio that make stupid mistakes on the ground. I just don't think Bulgarian. I think this guy is going to be the truth, man.
It'd be good to see.
Probably a really good DraftKings play too in a decision because he probably gets like 14 minutes of control time.
That would, and a couple of takedowns, you know, some ground and pound. Yeah, you're looking at quite a few points here. Quite a few. Here we go. We have to talk about it. Next fight, Kennedy and Chuku.
Tom Loppet special.
Yeah, taking on OSP, Oven St. Preux. Yes, he is still fighting in the UFC. Minus 525 doesn't go. Plus 340 does go. Minus 700 for Kennedy. 9,400 in DraftKings. Plus 500 for Ovens, and the cheapest fighter on the card. Lou, start us off here.
All right. So, like, you're never parlaying him.
No, impossible.
You can't. And strangely enough, he doesn't have any first round finishes since the Contender Series.
Yep.
There's an asterisk on this. He could have very easily, depending on the ref, had a first round finish against RoboCop. I say that because we saw his fucking brain.
No, that's Chidi.
No, it's not.
That's Chidi and Joe Kawani.
Fuck, man. I am. God damn. So when I said that earlier in the week to somebody, that's why they didn't respond. They were like, "Where Brady, edit this."
Yeah,
just edit this.
Cut that part out.
Yeah. So he still never had a round one finish in the UFC. That part I know.
Exactly.
Now OSP was like a freshman in high school when I was a senior, basically. So it's hard for me to think that there's a glimmer of hope for him. But like, how do you get creative? Well, there's people in the Discord that I respect greatly that are going to take stabs on this sub prop.
Vince's sub prop?
On Kennedy's sub prop. And that maybe St. Preux dives in for a takedown because he's not going to want this on the feet, puts himself in a bad spot, gets choked out. I think that's possible. I don't know how else you really play this fight. The round one, round two is a terrible bet. In the distance is like minus 280, which is probably all right. Like, it's probably not horrible value, but I don't really like this kind of bet. So, yeah, I'm going to go ballsy, and I'm going to pick Nchukwu to win this fight. And I'm going to say second round submission.
There we go.
And do you want a price for that?
Yeah.
I think there's a better price somewhere else, but since I only have the book up that I have up, I'm going to tell you what it is. Oh, yeah. Plus 3,500 for the round two sub. Plus 5,500 for round three. So obviously you have to.
Jesus.
Poke on that. And if you just want to take the sub, it's 10-1. If you're
There
gonna
you
get
go.
creative, like, I mean, look, you got to take some stabs on some creative. You got to be captain stabbing. I mean, dude, do I think it's gonna come early? I don't know, man. The problem is like, again, Nchukwu doesn't have first round finishes, but I'm not certain OSP has more than like 3 minutes of gas here. Of course, I'm going to talk. It's not just me. It's like some of the dudes that I respect immensely in the disc. Like, I'm not taking like credit for this. I'm going to bet it. But again, how do you get creative in these fights, in these spots, dude? And look, what's the likelihood that OSP shoots once? Like, before he gets bonged, what's the likelihood?
Pretty good.
Okay, if he shoots against a monster of a man, his neck's going to be exposed.
Yep.
Or he just goes to the ground. And he's like, all right, I'm dead.
Yeah, exactly. If you can't secure the guillotine.
What if they tumble to the ground and Kenny just lands on him?
Oh,
Like, you know?
yeah. This is the Scrabble fight of the week for sure.
What's his ownership going to be?
Who?
Like
Nchukwu?
90%?
Yeah. Right. Actually, I've heard people that are like trying to get off of him, and so I don't know. I think it's going to be high though.
Now, before I pass it to you for this, again, this is hugely important because that damn John Kelly got rid of late swap. If this fight gets pulled or something's weird, you just lost all your lineups.
Yeah, I'm removing Kennedy from the few cash lineups that I have him in. I am taking him out. I'm not risking it at all. But before that, I was like 9,400, most expensive, sure. Never had a first round finish, sure. But if he's ever going to get one, now is the Lucy Liu line from Kill Bill. Now's the fucking time, Kennedy and Nchukwu. Yeah, Ovens, I'm not putting a lot of stock here. I mean, Felipe Lins KO'd him in less than a minute. Got KO'd by Tanner Bozer before that. Yeah, I like Kennedy here. I'm just worried about what's Kennedy's pressure going to look like, because it looked okay against Devin Clark. He landed better than okay, 8.3 strikes a minute. But that's double what he's landed in almost any other fight. Double minimum. I'm being generous.
Well, there's no resistance coming back at him.
Well, that's true. But I mean, he's like less than 3 strikes a minute against Jacoby, 4 strikes a minute, Eon, 1.6 against Roberson, 1.6 a minute, and that was 12-minute fight. I mean, just not great overall. So if I knew he was going to come in and pressure him, I'd put him in a bunch of lineups. But
for the record, for the record here, because I think there's context with the Eon Kudiyaba fight. He just let Kudiyaba do his thing for like the first 5 minutes.
He's like, oh,
and then he kicked his ass. Like, then he started throwing. So I'm saying is like, I think there's context to at least that one, but I would agree. He is not like,
the most high volume at all. That said, he scores okay. So I'm still going to play him, but I don't know if the field's like 50% on him. I don't know if I can get there. I like Moises. I like, who's 9,200? I don't know. Whoever's 9,200, I like that person. Even 91, I think, was a good spot. So yeah, I'm just not going to go crazy.
I got to mention something here because I'm having PTSD because now I know why I don't want to bet them, and it's because the worst card I ever had betting started off with the Unjung when he elbowed him through his fucking guard, and you're like, why is he hurt? What is happening? Why is the fight over? It's like a minute. I had Nchukwu in like a fuck ton of lineups. I had like a big bet on him. So like within 1 minute of the card starting, like my day is over.
Yeah.
Like DK, the second it happened, I'm like, I'm going to like captain lineups on DraftKings. I'm like, okay. Late lineup. Let's do the captain.
Yeah, exactly. Let me get the main card lineups
and
going.
then like that was a disaster because I have it up right now. It was who the fuck did I have in here? Oh, I had like Chaos Williams and he didn't. Oh no, I had Baeza.
Oh.
And he got killed by Chaos
Caramel
Williams.
Thunder.
I had DeLima. That was the one bet I got right when he killed Clint's
Was that
dad, Ben Rothwell.
Big Ben? Yeah.
And then I think I had Yair for salary reasons. That's when Max Holloway landed 7,000 fucking shots on him with like 9 takedowns. So that was not a good day for me. Yeah.
Oh, no bueno.
No. So, I mean, I hope he wins, but like he could,
He owes you. Is what you're saying? You owe
No,
me.
I could never get that one back. That was just
No, I know.
It was such a bad look, man. Look, he did get me yam bags.
That's
That
true.
was the first in the history of this show. That's the first one I hit.
Nice.
It was him against Nega Murano. The first one I hit. So, you get what you get. You can't get upset.
Do we still have that coming up?
Oh, fuck. No, sorry. God damn, I missed. So the yam bags, sorry. It's you already pulled the slide. It's Filio Osborne for me.
Oh, nice.
I don't have any real good rationale except in Southpaw Orthodox. And it's a dude who I think is sloppy against a guy who tends to gas late. That's going to be fighting off takedowns. So, like, yeah, I don't really have a good bagaroo. The main event, I think, is potential. And I'll explain why, but I'd rather do Filio Osborne.
There we go. Co-main event.
If I don't do the prop show, I'm not like I forget to do it. Like I'm like, oh. And I'm not on Twitter anymore. So like, I don't have like the same audience to be like, "What's up, bitches? Balls."
Soon enough. Here we go. Brian Pooh Bear Battle taking on Ange Lusa. Plus 130 does not go to decision. Minus 160 does. Minus 183, the favorite Brian Battle. Plus 158 for Lusa. 86 and 7,600 here. Why don't you start us off on this co-main event?
So just solely based on the line, I would pick Lusa. I think that it's a pretty close fight. I think Lusa's shown some good durability. Battle's a pretty tough dude. Lusa's a little more high volume, but I think Battle hits harder. There he is.
I'll allow it.
Lusa is going to, like, this is the one thing that's crazy is, like, Lusa, yeah, he probably has a wrestling advantage here, but he's not Renat. Like, he's not going to land, like, 10 takedowns and, like, Battle's never getting up. Like, oh, man, I remember that fucking Marquez, another asshole.
Yep.
Also very upset that they never rescheduled Marquez versus Darren Wynn.
Oh,
because Marquez's round 3 prop was like plus 450. I was cracking up. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? Like, how do you ever what? So I like, just based on this on the line, I think it's a little wide. All that being said, Battle round 3 at 1050 is a must play for me here. As tough as Lusa is, as durable as he's been, man, he did not look good against Rhys McKee. He was just trying to hang on for dear life in the 3rd round of that McKee fight. I know I got the right black guy for this fight, by the way. I'm not confused.
You nailed it.
With like, yeah, this is not my finest effort tonight, I suppose.
No, that was Uriah Hall, actually. That was Uriah Hall.
Yeah, it was not. But Lusa did not look good in the 3rd round of that fight. The Fletcher fight was just like a total fucking disaster all around the 3rd round. The Battle's shown some really good cardio, and he's still got like that head kick might be there. Lusa's got his hands down. Like McKee was just throwing punches. He wasn't doing shit with the kicks. So I think Battle round 3 is kind of a must play as a prop at over 10-1. But I'm going to pick Lusa to hang on to like a pretty close 29-28 decision. But that 3rd round, man, I think Battle wins 3rd, super, super high clip.
I love it. I'm on the Lusa side as well, 7,600. I mean, yeah, he didn't look great in the finish of that fight against McKee, but still ended up with 115 points. I mean, almost 100 strikes, 6 takedowns landed, 41% control time. So he's out controlling his opponents. Same with Fletcher. He scored 123, another decision. Meanwhile, Brian Battle's putting up similar numbers, but he's doing it with quick win bonuses against Takashi Sato, against Gabe Green. He also beat AJ Fletcher, subbed him in the 10th minute, and he scored 103 points there. So I kind of like this fight a little bit sneakily for DraftKings. I understand both these guys are better. Like Luce is better than Fletcher and Green, probably, and Sato for sure. Battle better than McKee, better than AJ Fletcher. So that means I don't know if the scores are going to be quite as high as they usually are, which means I am going to be picking the underdog here at 7,600. I'll have him rostered.
Battle gets any takedown? Like, do you think he gets any points on the ground?
Yeah, I don't know, because I know it was against Fakhretdinov, who's a beast on the ground. Fakhretdinov controlled him for like 14 and a half minutes of those 15 minutes, landed 7 takedowns. I mean, Ange Lusa landed 6 against McKee and 2 against Fletcher. As I said, 40% control time in each of those. So if this gets there, I think Battle might have a little bit of a struggle, but if he's able to last the round, every round starts on the feet. So yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know if Brian
Battle has a chance at reversals here too.
Yeah. And those are 5 points each on DraftKings, so we do have to remember that. Then maybe he'll reverse it. They'll pop back up. We can do it all again. So yeah, I've kind of been going back and forth on this one. I favor Lusa more than Battle, but I will have Brian Battle rostered at 8,600. That's for sure. Next fight, we did it. Main event of the evening. Tai Tuivasa taking on Marcin Tybura. Sorry, they did not have an updated picture of him. But his haircut is wild this week. Minus 650. Fight doesn't go. What else would you expect out of a Tuivasa fight? Plus 425 does go. Minus 117 for Ty. 8,300 is his salary. Plus 103 for Tybura. 7,900 for him. Yeah, must play fight. Tai Tuivasa fights are must play. He either knocks you out early, scores a bunch of points. Not the most points, but at 8,300, a score of 95 or 99 or 102 will absolutely get it done on this card, in my opinion. So I love the Tai Tuivasa side, and if he's not getting the quick finish, he's generally getting finished. Tybura, not the most efficient finisher by any means. Last KO'd Walt Harris back in 2021. But hey, anything's possible. 38's not old for heavyweight. I don't know what else to tell you, man. I'm going to play both sides of this one. I'm picking Tai Tuivasa. I expect him to get it done. The UFC does not want Tai Tuivasa to lose 4 fights in a row. I guarantee you that. So I'm picking Tuivasa. I think he wins, but what does this fight look like, Lou, if it gets past like the 7, 8, 9 minute mark for Tuivasa? I mean, you gotta be thinking a live bet on Tybura at that point, just like in the Romanov fight, just like so many other fights that he's involved in.
I sure should hope it doesn't go that far.
Yeah, no kidding.
Because I'm playing Tuivasa 1-2. It's plus 160. I'm concerned because this knee injury of Tuivasa, I'm not certain if it's going to factor in here. And I wonder if Tybura does get an early takedown. Will Tuivasa have a problem getting up? Like, will that tax him? I'm going to say, though, from watching enough Tybura fights, and like, I've been pretty good with him too. I had the Romanov bet, although they should have really stopped that fight in the first. I got a little
true.
I got very fortunate there. The rationale for why I took Tybura was right. Thought Romanov would gas. I didn't think Romanov would outland him like 38-0 in the first, and like 10-7 him basically. But if you go back to a lot of Tybura's fights, he doesn't really shoot early. He's getting his reads. Keeps it on the feet. He's trying to like just get a beat on his opponent. He's not shooting in the first minute. He should. Because if he doesn't, every minute this fight's on the feet, I don't like his odds.
No.
and dude, he's getting finished by power punchers. And like if Tuivasa's got one good thing, it's that. So like, look, this isn't the most technical breakdown. I think if Tuivasa is going to win, it has to be early. I think if Tybura gets one takedown in this fight, even if he doesn't get a finish, it's not even the cardio I'm worried about with Tuivasa, it's the knee. But I think Tuivasa like probably bonks him in the first 5 minutes.
Yeah, I agree. Love him for GBPs. I even don't mind it for cash at 8,300. I really don't mind that. I know it's kind of volatile, but the mid-range is kind of sketchy, it seems like, this week. But
I don't know that Tybura gets like, if this thing does get extended.
Oh, he's not scoring well.
But I don't know that Let's see what Ty. I mean, like, if let's say this fight hits the 4th round. I'm gonna put this out there. Let's say Tybura just controls him the whole 3rd round. Let's put it out there. Okay.
Okay.
Could Tuivasa just blast him to start the round?
He sure should.
Well, Tybura's not some cardio monster. Like,
shout out to the Men's Warehouse guy. I guarantee
dude,
you'll like the way
Justin got so much funnier since I'm off Twitter.
He's working on his craft.
Tell that joke, you know. But yeah, I honestly think Tybura. What's his decision prop here? It's probably gross.
You've seen his haircut, right?
Yeah, it's awful. Tybura's decision is plus 750.
Oh my god, that's not high enough. That's not good enough.
In a 3-round fight, I'd like it. Not in a 5-round fight,
right?
But man, I feel like if Tybura doesn't knock him out early, that's probably what happens. It's probably going to be like Tybura
if
just
Tuivasa doesn't knock him out early, you mean?
Sorry. Who did I say?
Tybura.
Dude, I suck today.
No, that's not your fault. These 2 names are too.
No, dude, similar. This has just been a long week, and the not drinking I'm off. I should do a show tomorrow from the bar. I'll just be like, "What's up, bitches?" Now I'll break down the fights, motherfuckers. Go old school.
The names.
My job made me work. What a bunch of assholes, dude. The nerve.
Right. All right. Well, that's it. We did it. You got what else do you need to you shouting out any soccer picks, any weekend picks or anything like that? I don't have shit else going on this week. I am just chilling.
I don't have one yet. I'm still by next week it'll be up.
Oh yeah.
I'll tell you what I mean, I don't want to give away what I'm gonna do. I'll give you an idea. It's gonna be 2 characters in one. Monk already knows the whole thing. There's gonna be an element of me, and there's gonna be an element of if Lou was the most boring motherfucker on the planet. It's gonna be a fun thing, but I don't know. I don't have what's his fucking name? My guy Subhuman. Goddamn, your Dogfather in the house. At the end of the show, of course. I already gave him my favorite play for tomorrow, just with my metrics. If you guys want to just fuck around, it's an hour. So Europe doesn't change their time zones for 2 weeks.
What the fuck?
Yeah, it's weird. All the soccer games are an hour later. So the good news is I get more sleep. The bad news is I'm not gambling at 7 a.m. and I don't like that.
What kind of system do we have here? This is insane.
So the one game tomorrow, it's at 3 p.m. Eastern in the Dutch Eerste Divisie League 2.
Of course.
I'll be free shortly, trust me. Is the Den Haag Telstar first half over 1.5. It's plus 150 range. It's hit 6 out of 10 times between these 2 teams. Den Haag's been really good to me all year. Telstar is on a nice little form run. They're the ones scoring. I like that. The biggest play I got on Thursday, and fucking Subhuman missed the number. There was a crazy game on Wednesday where Luton Town was up 3-0 at halftime, and they lost 4-3, which in basketball would be 500 to 480.
Yeah, and they're up 300 to nothing.
And now they got to turn around and play Saturday against Nottingham Forest. They're at home. I like Forest big here. I like their team total. I'd ladder it to 2.5. Luton's defense is all injured. They're gassed. They have no squad depth. Those are my favorite 2 plays for footy. Den Haag first half over. Nottingham Forest, money line team total, all that shit. And Bayern Munich first half over 1.5 goals. Fuck it. It's plus 115. They're probably just going to dominate this Darmstadt.
Did you say Den Haag?
Den Haag's in the Eerste.
I'm choosing the Hog.
Den Haag, Haag.
Close
Den
enough.
Haags.
Yeah, you and me both. Me both.
He knows.
All right, everybody.
Dogfather making the rounds, dude.
Yep.
Worked with Lucrative. Then he slummed with us.
Yeah.
Then he worked with VB this week. one of my guys.
He must
got
have
to
an album
experience-
coming out or some shit.
Dude, he got to experience Ramon, which is like, I mean, if there's a crazier person in this space than me, it's fucking Ramon. VB.
Love it. Love it.
He's funny as shit. Ramon's funny as shit.
When's that show on? Is that Thursdays?
It's whenever he fucking does it. VB
Okay.
does it earlier in the week. It's like Monday or Tuesdays. But
Oh, okay.
But I can get VB to break on air like every fucking time by just being crazy. And then Ramon does crazy shit. And the whole show, I know you're shocked that I would spiral a show.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like you at all.
That I would send the show off the rails. But that's I can break him every time. And then Ramon loses it. And then Ramon's like, oh, cool. We're just going to all be weird. Let's go.
We're just the gates are open now.
Then VB's like, thank God I don't have a camera on because like I fucking hate both of you.
Love it. Love it.
Oh, and go check out Big Steve's pot. Oh, he didn't do one this week.
Oh no.
Big Steve had 0 bets.
Oh no. Oof. The old blank on the ledger.
Join that Discord for all 0 bets he made this week. Dude, he wants to come talk
Lou
shit.
getting his shots off in the last week.
Suck, dude.
Whole Wi-Fi just go out. Okay, there we go.
Oh, one other thing. I was talking about like Liam and I in a fight. Not that I want to fight Liam, but like how that fight would go. And I'm like, cool. If it's boxing, maybe I got a shot. If it's not, I would be tapping out the second he got a takedown. Before I even hit the ground, I'd be tapping. I'd be like, nope.
He looked back
done.
at your hand like that was quick.
Like, they'd be like, did you tap? I'm like, I tapped in the air. Yes, it's over. I'm not getting up. And he just
verbal tap in the air.
I'm like, quick, all right.
You hit the ground. Oh,
He beat me in, I mean, like, however long it takes him to initiate a takedown is how long the fight would go. 2 seconds. So he starts stepping toward me, I'd be like,
right, yeah. Just start windmill punching.
that'd be the only offense I could possibly have in that. Yeah, right. I'm every jobber in wrestling. Already in the ring to my left.
What a way to introduce somebody. So funny.
Yeah.
Hilarious. Exactly. What the fuck is a den hog? That's what I'm talking about.
I'll show you. If you come over, I'll show you.
Come to my den. I'll show you a hog. There we go. That's a great way to end. Perfect. Yeah, I don't have shit else going on, guys. As usual, we want all of you to enjoy the fight. So enjoy, and we will see you in the next one.